I started the Kipos Group in 2022, so it's almost been 4 years now, with the idea that in the nonprofit space, bigger isn't always better. Stop looking for shiny objects. Start looking for people that have a track record.
It's not because of the pool of talent either. Why are they so bad at hiring?
I think it's just because they get freaked out because it's about asking people for money.
It's good to meet you, man. I appreciate you coming on, but yeah, we could share dad stories for a long time.
Yeah, honestly, it's those are great stories. They're fun and
100%,
random, but they're good.
Yeah, are you boys and girls? Kind of what's going on with
boys
with
and girls? 10,
yeah.
8, and 5 right now.
Far out, yeah, that's good. Good spread. They can all watch each other and beat each other up and all that good stuff.
Watch each other for about 15, 20 minutes, and then they start wrestling for fun for another 7 minutes, and then the crying from the littlest one starts after that.
I get you. The domino effect. I'm surrounded by women, so I have 2 daughters, right, and my wife, of course, and we went to Texas, and then a very, very good friend of mine, he and his wife moved from here in California to Texas. So we hung out with them and stayed with them for a couple nights, and they have 4 boys, not all under the same roof. A couple of them are older and what have you, but their 2 youngest play football and went to 2 football games. And so it's like, and they have a giant dog, a male dog and all that stuff. And so it was interesting, the dichotomy, right, of me being surrounded by women at all times, which I would not change for the world. And then being, the football pads and helmets strewn all over the place. And I was out there chucking the football for like an hour and a half on our first day.
My arm hurts, my shoulder
brother,
hurts
I was
so
so sore. Yeah. No, I felt my age on that one, but no, it was good, dude. It was really good. I was like, it was interesting. Do you go to many conferences in the nonprofit space?
No, very few.
That's okay. There's not, once again, you don't have to. There's no right or wrong answer. But I was like, man, it would be kind of cool. Like we started so small. My wife came to one with me a while ago, and that was really, really cool. And she came with my sister, who was our first employee. But I was like, it was kind of cool. Like the one that I just went to is called Raise, and One Cause puts it on. There's like, almost 800 people and stuff. And I'm doing a live podcast for them while I was there or with them. It was really, really cool. I was like, man, it would have been pretty fun to like, have my 7-year-old running around and seeing it and stuff like that. I thought that might be I missed an opportunity there, but anyway, yeah, we run a family business, so it's kind of cool, but
that's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, is it Kipos or Kipos Group? Is that where you?
Kipos.
Okay. Pardon me. Sorry, brother.
No,
yeah, we didn't have a chance to talk.
Kipos.
So Kipos Group, and hey, we met. I'm just tickled that you're here. Thanks for making the time. Appreciate it. I know the audience is going to get a lot out of it, but we met on LinkedIn. And listen, I'm no expert. I think LinkedIn is obviously tailor-made for our space. I know you're very prolific there, but I see so much thoughts right on LinkedIn, and my algo is all fundraisers, which is great. And it caught my reading what you're putting out there, and the practicality of what you do, and what have you, and your messaging caught my attention. And like I just reached out to you cold. I'm like, hey man, this is great. Come on the pod.
Yeah,
so
thank you for that. It's always good to get that feedback.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, do the audience a favor. It's better coming from you than from me, just like, what got you, going with Kipos? Is it just you, stuff like that? And like, I don't want to spill too much, but it's like, you believe in incremental steps, it seems like, right? Very practical incremental steps for orgs. And I love the approach, and it's rooted in reason. Just tell the folks, a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind, and how you got into it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started the Kipos Group in 2022. So it's almost been 4 years now.
Cool.
With the idea that in the nonprofit space, bigger isn't always better. Bigger means that you've learned how to do fundraising and marketing. It doesn't mean that you've learned how to actually solve the problems that you set out to solve.
Awesome.
And I had this deep desire post-pandemic to help these small and mid-sized nonprofits that had figured out the other stuff, the programming stuff, the implementation stuff, the impact stuff, but were horrible at fundraising. I wanted to scour and find those organizations and help them raise big dollars to scale their impact, because the other guys didn't need my help. So that's how the whole thing started. We're a small but lean team. I'm the only full-time person, and one of my ideas is that I want people to stay in the nonprofit space. I want them to stay working for nonprofits that make a difference. I don't want to take the best talent and build a company with it. But those nonprofits won't benefit from those people that are at that caliber too much longer, because they need higher income. So we've built a team of subs that are still in-house at some of the leading nonprofits in the country, both for impact and fundraising. And they've gotten permission to carve out time to work with our clients. And that way we're able to keep costs down because we're not carrying a head count, but also give stellar services to folks. And I love being able to thread that needle, because for me, it's not about building a business with a building in a strip mall somewhere. It's about building a business that's actually helping nonprofits grow something beautiful with their programs and their fundraising. And that's actually what the name Kipos is all about. It's Greek for garden. One of my hobbies is flower gardening. I have a whole separate business with cut flowers that I sell at a wedding florist's. But I want to do the same thing. I want to help nonprofits grow something beautiful inside their organizations.
I love what you unpack so much just there, right? Like a whole garden of paths to take. I love that. You recognize there was something going on in the market. You mentioned something about keeping talent. I mean, the origin story is great. I love it. Obviously, you seem entrepreneurial. You realized there was a need. The market was telling you something, as I like to say. Is that because you worked at a small nonprofit, or you knew folks that were leaving the space? Because as you mentioned, that's a huge piece of what we see on a day-to-day is the culture that we're creating at these different organizations, and then watching very, very talented folks leave because of opportunity. Unpack that a little bit more. Just what you were doing and what you noticed that told you how to do this.
There was so much going on at that time. This was 2020. This was 2022. It was the Great Resignation, right? Like, we don't have enough jobs right now, but back then we didn't have enough people to fill the jobs. Everybody was hopping from nonprofit to nonprofit for better teams, better culture, better pay, the whole thing. So I was interested in that phenomenon, just kind of the parallel jumping that I saw everywhere. But what more interested me was I worked for a nonprofit that when I started was a $48-50 million a year nonprofit. After 10 years, we are at 150 million. And even being that size, which is a decent size, organization,
that's a big shop.
Afford to bring in fundraising expertise from other consultants, because their retainer fees were $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 a year. And so I saw those two things happening. If I can't afford it at an organization in 30 countries and 27 cities and a $1.50 budget every year, how in the world would an organization $3, $5, $7, $10 million get the help that they need? And the answer was they can't. There's either the big box fundraising consultants out there, which do provide great services for the right niche of nonprofit that they're designed to serve, or they get a mom and pop person that their company is their name and they're out there and they can do a client per year, and those are hit or miss. So I wanted to develop something for the middle market that really added a lot of value, both to the team, but also to the organizations.
I think of it like a pyramid. Like, even in our work, it's like there's like we are in the event space, and at the very tippy top, giant events and whatnot. And I don't know if we could, frankly, I just say, like, I don't know if we can bring value. I mean, they raise a ton of money at their events. Maybe they don't even need us. But I was focusing when we got going, and still now to this day, no offense to the folks at the very, very tippy top. We'd love to help, but like the pyramid, you know what I mean? The base. Right. And then it's like some things like you notice something in the market that necessity is the mother of invention, I hear as well. Right. Like,
absolutely.
So cool. And that, and so you felt like that space was being underserved and couldn't bring in the consultant, the development help, and what do you notice with the folks that you're working with, that mid-level or smaller nonprofits, from a development standpoint? And it's a big 30,000 foot view question, but like, what are they missing from fundraising that you've been able to connect the dots with, just in general?
That's a great question, Trevor.
Yeah.
I mean, there's what, 1.8 million nonprofits in America. So I guess
Yeah.
there's 1.8 million reasons that people aren't, doing better in fundraising. I think a few of the top reasons. The top one is leadership.
Yeah.
Just, does the leadership have both the courage? Not both. Does the leadership have the courage, the know-how, and the emotional intelligence to lead the fundraising charge? That's the number one thing I see holding nonprofits back. Does the leader have the courage, the know-how, and the EQ to lead the fundraising charge? We could do 18 episodes on just that, okay? And somebody
You got
should.
me going though. You got me going though, brother. So
Yeah. Okay, that's number one. Number two is errant energy. And what I mean
Totally.
by that is they're putting the energy in the wrong things.
Give an example.
Yeah. They're trying really hard to get 10,000 $10 donors. If everybody just gave $5, Trevor, we could do this goal. Okay. No, that's not how it works anymore. Okay. I'm not making a political comment here, but just demographically, rich people have gotten richer and everybody else has kind of stayed the same, or not is doing as well off as the previous generation. The most successful thing you can do in fundraising is target high middle income and high net worth individuals. It's the most sustainable, long lasting thing you can do. I don't care about, for a nonprofit that's $3 million in annual revenue, $5 donations. I care that they're building relationships with 30 to 50 people that can write $25, $50, $100,000 checks. So they're putting a lot of energy towards volume and not towards impact, which is the exact opposite of what they're doing on the program side. Because I picked these nonprofits because they figured out how to have deep impact, in their program. So that's number two. Number three is that they're hiring bad.
That's a big issue.
Big.
Yeah.
I am surprised every week. Talk to about 10 different nonprofits a week right now, just for various things. These are some of the smartest people I know. Okay, Trevor? They're so stinking smart. They are solving problems that big business has not been able to monetize and that government of either party just can't solve. Okay.
Right.
But they can't hire a fundraiser to save their life.
And it's not because of the pool of talent.
What was that, Trevor?
It's not because of the pool of talent either. Why are they so bad at hiring?
I think it's just because they get freaked out because it's about asking people for money. But just stop looking for shiny objects. Start looking for people that have a track record, that in their resume, they're showing what they have produced year-over-year growth, that talk about a process to do it, not just, that. Stay away from people who say, I have 10 folks that will come with me, because when they leave your organization, then those 10 folks are going with them to the next one. And look for people that haven't job hopped too much. I mean, it's not that hard. But I think because it's money, and most nonprofit leaders come to it from the program side of things, it freaks them out a little bit and they get in their own way.
Wow. It's so good. it's so good. The hiring piece is baffling to me, and the jumping shops is, it could be a money thing. Everyone's got a right. You're a free agent, right? No matter what, you get to chart your own path and all that good stuff. Now we're getting in the part where if you find the good people, how do you keep them? And I keep hearing you come back to it. We said, you said it in each example. It's about the people, right? Okay, cool, right? Big picture, but bringing in the right talent and then keeping those people. I mean, what are some suggestions when you're looking, if you're a leader and you're looking at those resumes when you're building out a fundraising team, or just looking for one individual, for instance, in development? What are some pitfalls to stay away from, but some things that you should really, really look at and hone in on? Is okay, this is a good candidate, because this is a massive issue with hiring and the turnover piece. Yeah.
I think, you mentioned, yes, people are free agents. They get to hop. It doesn't mean you need to hire every free agent that knocks on your door.
Totally.
Okay. If they are hopping, if they have a few hops, they were here for a year or 18 months, and there's just one or two of them over the course of a 30-year career. Okay, something just didn't work out. Or a spouse got transferred to a different, like if there's a story, fine. If a whole 10, 15, 20-year career is 1 year stints, that tells you all you need to know about that person. Well, if I get a really good person for just 1 year, no, stop it. It takes a person 18 months to fully become entrenched in your organization and start building the right relationships that produce significant revenue. So just stop that line of thinking. Okay. That's number one. Number two, the past is always the best predictor of the future. And now I am a person of faith. I think that people can be redeemed. I think people can experience forgiveness and transformation and all of those different things. But if they haven't raised a lot of money before, they're probably not going to raise a lot of money for you. And so if you're hiring a fundraiser that doesn't put dollar amounts that they raised, more importantly, year over year dollar amounts, percentage growth, it tells me they either didn't do it, so they can't put it in their resume, or they don't realize it's important, which means they don't understand the job. So when I'm working with the CEO and I'm going through, the 75, 100 resumes with them, I teach them this. And I'm like, we're not looking at this one anymore. They haven't showed me that they can do the job or that they understand the job. Okay.
Totally.
That's on the resume screen. Okay. On the in-person interview screen, I'm a ruthless interviewer. Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
You are not that I'm mean. I'm just really thorough and I want to understand. You need to ask people for stories. Tell me about a time that XYZ. Tell me about a time that you led the charge to get an amazing gift and how you orchestrated the team to work together for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get two things out of that. One, that they actually got the gift and they weren't just like a researcher in the background that says they got the gift and I want to know that they actually were a consummate part of this effort to do it. Number two, I want to see that they actually built a team around them to do it, because I've never seen successful fundraisers not be part of successful teams. The lone wolf thing, I'm not here for. Okay. Not here for it at all. Those people wreak havoc in your organizations. Second story I would ask for is a time where you stepped up to go after something big and you didn't get it. What went wrong?
Sure.
If they can't tell me that, or if they can't tell me two specific things about that, one, that if they can't think of one, then they're not going after big gifts. That's a problem. Okay. So they don't have a story in mind. Well, what the heck are you doing? Number two, if the story only talks about the faults of other people and the faults of the donor, then they're not a humble enough person to be able to own their own mistakes. And I don't want to work with them, because I make 100 mistakes a day. I say I'm sorry for it. I explain it. I make it better. I move on. Everybody does that. And if you can't do that, then you shouldn't be working, in fundraising.
We got an accountability issue. Yeah.
Got an accountability issue. I use Patrick Lencioni's ideal team player framework, looking for people that are hungry, humble, and smart. Hungry, they have like the chutzpah. They just have like the drive. You don't need to wake up every day thinking, how am I going to motivate Joe to go meet with folks today? I don't have time to motivate Joe. Joe needs to motivate himself. I mean, yes, you need to provide inspiration as a leader, but if it's every day, that's not your calling. That's Joe's
exhausting.
Problem.
It gets exhausting.
Yeah. Humble means what we just talked about. Are you willing to own your mistakes? If you mess up with a teammate, if you format the proposal wrong, if you whatever, there's 1,000 mistakes you can make. You just own it. Are you humble enough to recognize that you are not the end all be all and just say, my bad, guys, my bad? Okay. And third is smart. And smart does not mean intellectually capable. Smart means emotional intelligence. Do you have the ability to read the room and understand how to still be true to yourself, but show up in the way that is meaningful and valuable to the person you're trying to communicate with? Okay. And if you haven't read his book or listened to his podcasts on it, it's Patrick Lencioni's The Ideal Team Player. It has never led me wrong. What has led me wrong is not following it and
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
rationalize my way around one of the three things. And I've gotten screwed every time I've done that.
Yeah. Well, you bring up so many major points. I think sometimes people just get in the leadership piece or space. They just get, they're not thoughtful enough about these things. And what's not interesting. It's actually, it's sad is how much the wrong hire can put you 10 steps back. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And like you said, it takes 18 months to get ramped up. That's real on the for-profit side too. I mean, there's so much symmetry to the for-profit side and the nonprofit side when it comes to making these key hires and what have you. And I just think folks get into a rush and they don't get as diligent as you're not laying out like rocket scientist type, we have to do 50 different personality tests and although they're helpful, but like I just think people could be a little more thoughtful about these decisions because we've seen countless, and I know you have too, situations and examples where it just will set your organization back so far that you're climbing out of a hole every time you do it. And it's a repeating theme. Yeah.
Well, nothing bugs a major donor more than the person they're working with changing all the time.
Good
And if
call.
they have a bad experience, if
Yep.
Joe is just a jerk, to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they're going to remember that for 10 years.
Yep.
This is not something that a quick exit in an HR process and an apology can solve. Mr. and Mrs. Smith remember that Joe was a jerk in the dining room, for pretty much ever.
Totally. There's that's very, very interesting. It's like people buy from people give to people. Right. I mean, talk about that and some experiences for the audience to understand that a little bit. It's like the trust piece and that turnover piece is so bad. You can lose, massive relationships with the turnover and not having people in the right people in the seat, so to speak. But how important it is for folks to realize that it is the people. Of course, they've explained the mission, they've proven the mission, they've proven the work. That goes without saying. But I think this gets overlooked, James, a lot, is just the fact that people want to give to people. Like, it's not just the horse, it's the jockey.
Yeah. Well, before I answer that, I want to go back to something you said. Of course, it's the mission. Of course, it's the program. That goes without saying. It doesn't actually go without saying, which is the sad
go
part.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
There are so many organizations out there that are trying to quote unquote sell or lead or communicate in absolutely the wrong way. They are not giving the right message. The message is, hey, look at us. Our nonprofit has this all figured out. Here's our 12-step plan to bring about transformation. Everybody's, buzzword, transformation in a sustainable way. Next buzzword.
Awareness.
And the donors, donors' eyes are just glazed over at that point. Same message to everybody else. The message has to be about solving the problems that the donors want to solve. And it has to center this donor as a character, the main character in the story. That's how you win people over to your cause. Okay. Second is you have to be a nice human to do it because people do give to people. They want people that are responsive.
Mm-hmm.
They want people that are simple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Kipos, we give 20% of our net profits away every year. We're not just in this to help people raise more money. We want to make money so we could actually be the donors. Because I've been in this space for so long, I want to give some money away.
You want to write some checks. Fun. Yeah.
And when I reach out to somebody that I'm giving to, or that we as a company are giving to, and one, they don't get back in a timely way, or two, they make it hard for me to understand their answer. I'm busy. I'm running a company. We have 30 clients. We have a bunch of staff. It's hard and I have 3 kids. If it's hard for me to figure it out and I'm in this industry, I don't want to engage with that person anymore. They made it too complicated. I want something simple. I want to change the world, which is hard to do, but I don't want the process of me giving money to it to be hard to do. So you have to respond to people. I wrote somebody an email 2 weeks ago, one of the nonprofits we give to that I love. They have not responded back yet. I love this nonprofit and I'm not going to do this, but part of me is like, I want to give them half of what I gave them last year because I'm really ticked off they haven't responded to this simple thing that is actually me trying to help them. It's bugging me a little bit.
I can tell.
So
Yeah,
if
but it's
you're
important.
listening, you know who you are, respond to my email. And if the email's too complicated, I'm busy and your donors are busy.
Yeah.
You're not going to engage them well that way.
I hearken back it's so simple but so brilliant. A friend of ours who you might be friendly with on LinkedIn, Kevin Brown, came on and he said clear over clever.
Yes. Kevin's phenomenal.
But brother, I mean, tell me that doesn't just hit you like right in the chest. You're just like, or in the forehead like it did to me. I'm just like, yes, we overcomplicate these things. And it's also, hey, the world is over digitized and people have so much coming at them, at alarming rates that we've never seen before. So I say this too, though, as well, James, a lot. Differentiation is stronger than competition. There's a lot of organizations that folks give to. Most folks give to more than one, as a matter of fact. I don't mind saying that. I don't think that's too far off. But clarity of message and being different with, once again, I mean, brevity. This is what we do. It is so overlooked, unfortunately, and it just creates confusion.
I try to coach people that they need to answer the question above the scroll. Okay. The scroll is in the email that you're responding to, either with your thumb if you're on your phone or your cursor if you're on a computer. They need to answer the question in a short enough amount of time that the person does not have to scroll down any further. Okay. Now, they might explain it further, but they need to answer it before the person has to do anything. Why? Because humans give about 0.4 seconds to everything right now. Everything. So answer the question above the scroll. And if you do explain it further, explain it, but make sure the answer is at the very top.
I love it. Yeah, just lay it out there. You're not hiding behind anything. They want it, don't overthink it either. They want to be involved. If they, just give them the chance. Yes. Give them the chance. There's so much there. One other thing you mentioned, I'm backtracking to, tripping over dollars to pick up nickels. I want $10,000 $5 level donors. And listen, I'm cool. I love small giving and I love sustainable giving and monthly recurring and all those things. Those are programs I believe in inherently. But we focus on that because why? Because it's easier, because there won't be the letdown, because the pressure's less. And also a second part to that, James, is like, when someone's in fundraising, in the development piece, a lot of the folks that they need to be working with are actually right in front of them. We don't spend enough time on the folks that are right in front of us as well. Give me some thoughts about that.
Okay. Number one, I love building a monthly giving program. I think it's awesome.
I'm big on it.
I love mid-level giving programs, and I love them because they're fast and you see results and it's creative and videos, and it just uses a lot of the skills that I like to use. But they only work at the right strategic point in time in the organization's life cycle. I think the reason that we don't focus on the things that matter boils down to one word, and that is fear.
Yeah.
Most nonprofit leaders don't come from wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Most nonprofit leaders live and serve in the communities that they work in, which are by and large marginalized communities. If you look at where most, not all, you have your health-based, your science-based, but most are focused on some kind of justice, poverty alleviation, mental health, homelessness, food access, those types of things.
Yep.
And they feel inferior to people who have money because in our Western world, we have equated money with worth. We've equated money with somebody who has it all figured out. Okay. And that if you have money, you've arrived. And if you don't have money, you haven't. There's something less valuable about you, which is complete bullcrap, by the way.
Yep.
But our society functions that way. We give honor and adherence to people who make more money, which only can tell me one thing about that person. They've just figured out how to make more money. It doesn't mean they're doing it in a good way or a bad way. They just have learned how to do it. So I think that fear, that inferiority keeps nonprofit leaders from having the open conversations they need to have with Mr. and Mrs. Smith about giving. Mr. and Mrs. Smith actually love to give money away. Okay. Not every wealthy person does. Wealth does not equal generosity. Generosity equals generosity. But if a person is in your list and they've showed a propensity for generosity and they have the means to continue to be generous, they want to be doing that. Okay. So have an open, honest human conversation with it. Yes, their house might be nicer than yours. Yes, their car might be nicer than yours, but you have something that they don't. You have access to communities and programs and people and lives that Mr. and Mrs. Smith want to see changed for the better. So you are a broker in that. You are a facilitator in that. You are not Orphan Oliver saying, please, sir, may I have some more? You are a freaking leader. So step up to the plate and lead.
Equity comes in so many different fashions. I love that you framed it that way, where, when you are the leader of the organization, you have the ability to affect this many people. And that's exactly who Mr. and Mrs. Smith want to get involved with. I think that, that fear, I want you to unpack the fear piece a little bit more too. I also hear you saying what we talk to folks a lot about, or just we recognize that folks project their own checkbook, right, or their own their own financial situation or financial past on the folks they're talking to. Once again, kind of like a two-part thing. You notice a trend with me. But like, how do you how do you get folks out of how do you coach these leaders to get out of their own head and not project their own financial situation and past and relationship with money, which is a whole nother ball of wax and a whole nother podcast, right? How do you get them to not project their own checkbook and eliminate fear? How are you coaching people to do that?
Yeah. So there's two ways that I'm working on it. And I don't have this fully solved. Okay.
Totally.
So if you're listening to this, you have better thoughts, send me a message. I want this. Number one is actually to talk about the concept of love. Okay. And I'm not talking this, you were not expecting that based on your facial expression.
I love it.
Talk about the concept of love, not romantic love, but the love that you have for your mission, for the people that you serve. Okay. If you are a resource strapped nonprofit, heck, if you're not a resource strapped nonprofit, you have resources, but you could do so much more good with additional resources. And you love that work. You love the research and the lives that research will benefit. You love the programs and the lives that will be benefited from it. The most unloving thing that you could do is stand in the way, let your own insecurities, your own fear, your own checkbook stand in the way of facilitating the transfer of those resources to your nonprofit and then through your nonprofit to missional impact.
Mm-hmm.
When I say that to 80% of nonprofit leaders, they describe it like a punch in the gut. Okay.
Yeah.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So that works for a lot of people. Then there's the other 20, 25% who need a much more complicated cycle. And I'm working on, this could be baloney, but I'm working on 5 A's, a cycle of 5 A's to lead executives through. And the first A is actually anxiety. That CEOs and high-level nonprofit leaders are truly anxious about asking for money for all the things that, we've just talked about, Trevor. Okay? And that gets at questions like, who am I? Who am I to show up here? Who am I to make this ask? It gets at questions of their sense of self being challenged. I'm not that guy. I'm showing up in my 20-year-old Honda Civic, okay, into their driveway that has a Maserati in it. Like, this isn't who I am. I'm the guy that, works in the trenches, on behalf of the communities. Okay. And it causes them extreme discomfort. They're losing sleep over the idea of asking. So that's classic anxiety. Okay. What I try to do is help those nonprofit leaders move from anxiety to a place of being annoyed. Okay. I would rather them be annoyed than anxious. Okay. Because an annoyance, it's like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. Oh my, and it's no longer, am I going to do this? It's shifted from, am I going to do it to, okay, I got to do it, but I really don't want to. You've moved it like 5 yards down the field or down the pitch. Okay.
Yeah.
So being annoyed. And then from annoyance to acceptance. Okay. This just has to be part of how I lead. This has to be part of the the life cycle of our organization. Our board is mandating it. We have to get on with it. I have to put the excuses aside. I have to embrace it. All of that. But notice they still haven't taken action yet. The fourth A in my cycle is action. You actually have to execute on something. You have to practice it. You have to schedule it in your calendar. You have to reflect on it. You have to make the mistakes, embrace the intelligent failure, the continued learning. You have to build a plan, build a team, build a strategy. Okay. And then once you've taken action, then you can accelerate it and grow. Okay. That's my 5-part little framework that's been on my whiteboard for a year now.
I was going to say, you're looking at the whiteboard right now?
I'm
I love
looking at
it,
the
man.
whiteboard because I'm building this every day as I'm talking to CEOs.
I love it. Hey, and hey, just so you know, like a couple zingers. Yeah, you hit me with a couple, like you said. I surprised you. A, that was great. Another A, the sixth A. First time ever anyone's ever thrown a chutzpah on the pod. So thank you for that. And then
from Jersey, so perfect.
Come on, bro. Come on. Oh, I love it. And then, like you said, reframing and letting yourself off the hook, so to speak, is the way I'm looking at it, and approaching it from a love, like that language of love and not romantic love. I thought that was really, really good. All very, very unique and exclusive takes by you. So your IP is great. Your IP is great, man. I appreciate you. No, I appreciate. Another thing is, like, just as I mean, I read something very, very interesting recently. Naval Ravikant, really great, really good stuff out there, and very encouraging for leaders and business owners and folks that are taking a step, gambling on themselves and whatnot. I get a lot of value out of it. So read something very, very interesting. Once again, very simple, but it resonated with me. Status is a zero-sum game. So, and with folks that are approaching it that way, like, oh, this person's got the Maserati in the driveway and, this and that, people that have wealth are very, very smart how they got it. They're very smart how they hold on to it and grow, and they're very smart how they give it away. But status is a zero-sum game. And for someone to be above you means someone has to be below you. And so just some words of wisdom, hopefully, for folks, just to let themselves off the hook with that, so to speak. I think, yeah, good stuff. Well, your guy about hiring, I don't know his work, and I can send you the book that I'm reading about from Naval Ravikant. That's really, really good. I'm reading it for the second time. Name? Naval Ravikant, Naval. I'll send you the book, brother. Ravikant, Ravikant, and it's a collection of his thoughts that he went on this. It's like a tirade of just this maelstrom of just goodness that he just tweeted out over time, and they created an almanac. So it's the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. I've given it away more than any other book in like the last year. I get in these like zeitgeists, with books where like I give away the 4 agreements, 15 times in a year, or, that kind of thing. But this almanac is so good. Another talking about sustainable giving and monthly recurring. Our friend Dave Raley, another great book that I can send you. We've given away a lot of copies of that too. The Rise of Sustainable Giving and the Subscription Economy. Brother, you got to meet Dave, and you should go on Dave's pod too. I'll make that intro. Really, really, really thoughtful, really good. So yeah. Thank you for that. But God, it's such a people thing. I'm getting so much, we get to talk to the brightest minds in fundraising. This conversation is no different. I'm not going to go down that path. This is something I'm on recently as well. There are no more uncomfortable problems. Pardon me. Let me reframe that. There are no more comfortable issues. There are actually, I'm getting a little rummy. Sorry, James. There are only uncomfortable ones that we're trying to solve. I listened to a really good Seth Godin podcast, who's a champion marketeer. And 10 plus years ago, he was talking about nonprofits. He's like, let's stop talking about, you don't need to agree with me, but I want to hear what you ascribe to with this. There are no more comfortable problems to solve. So let's stop talking about awareness. Let's not, like you threw out a couple buzz terms. You're like, this is a real popular one, right? And I'm like, we were kind of poo-pooing it a little bit, but like, talk to folks about that, or what you're seeing when it comes to getting over those things, like awareness. Like, this is a problem. We have to solve it. Like, just like a mental framework that folks can take when it comes to expressing the work that they're doing, and understanding that they're, once again, these folks that are giving are smart. They're smart how they got their money. They're smart how they grow their money. They're smart how they give it away. There are no more comfortable problems to solve. It's not about awareness anymore. Folks are aware, and you typecasted a few different like missions and homelessness and food insecurity and things like that. But like, how are you, what kind of conversations are you having with folks about just like expressing the work and not being afraid to talk about the nitty gritty of it, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know. Am I hitting home with any of that? Am I resonating with any of that?
Yeah, so I have so many thoughts. Okay, this
Yeah,
is
okay,
this is
cool.
not a question I've ever gotten before, Trevor.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. I like being stumped because it makes me think, and I like to think. I love the notion that there are only uncomfortable problems left. I
Yeah.
love that. And
Yeah.
that lines up very well with how I think about just the work and role of nonprofits in society.
Yeah.
That, government hasn't solved it and big business can't monetize it. That
You
only
mentioned
leaves
that.
hard things left. So
Yeah.
whether it's hard, whether it's uncomfortable, it's out there. Okay. Another, and the reason I'm liking this is another thing that I always talk about is just the importance of embracing the awkwardness. Okay. Everybody is awkward. I'm awkward. You're awkward. We're all awkward. Let's
Mhm.
just embrace it, because when you embrace it, it actually gives amazing richness to life.
It's human. Yeah.
What I'm struggling with is the awareness side of things. And that's because I spent 20 years working in the international nonprofit space with humanitarian organizations.
Yeah.
And there were just crises in the world that were affecting tens of millions of people that Americans simply just did not know about.
Yeah.
So I agree with the notion of
Yeah.
we're past awareness, but there are just some things that people don't know and they should know. That we should be more aware of, get over ourselves, put down Instagram, read a newspaper, types things.
Yeah.
But I agree with the sentiment of it, that let's get on with this. One of the things in my work is helping people understand that marketing and fundraising are different sciences applied to the same business problem. And that problem is generating knowledge and then resource of the organization. And when a marketing team tells me our job is just to bring awareness, I will slap that down as hard as I slap it. No, your job is actually to generate leads and to find an audience and use the best of marketing science to exploit the fullness of that audience and messages that resonate with that audience to bring them in so we can then exchange goods and resources.
Yep.
So it is not just about awareness. It is about messaging to people who care and are already aware about that and want to give to solve it. So I agree with that. I want to think about this more, but I strongly resonate with the only uncomfortable problems exist.
Yeah, I stole it from a brilliant marketeer, I've actively. It's a gift that you're on and sharing this on the pod. I really appreciate it. I know the audience will as well. But I've been there's been like two guests. I'm just like, man, if I could get Gary V on, it'd be like having Michael Jordan. And like, if I can get Seth Godin to come on the pod and talk about his take, and brother, what was crazy, the episode that I saw was like 12 years ago, and it's got like, I honestly think it only had like 5,000 to 10,000 views, and I was like, this is gold, and we should probably just put it in the notes or put it out there in general, just on like LinkedIn from us or something like that, just to get the conversation going, because I thought it was fascinating. And I love it when people have this richness of experience that you have and you're helping and you created a business out of it. And I really, really also like it when folks like Seth Godin talk about fundraising and there are no more comfortable problems. Okay, let's get that out of the way, that kind of thing. We don't all have to agree, and I love that. But it's very thought provoking, and I thought it was it was apropos to share that. Made a lot of sense to me, and only good will come out of it. I think it's great. Yeah. Hey, you mentioned. Go ahead. No, please go.
Your question here on the awareness and only being uncomfortable has me thinking through some other podcasts I'm listening too. I live
Yeah.
outside of Washington, D.C., so I follow politics really closely
Sure.
because it does affect like my daily life here.
It's like sports for you.
No, I actually hate that element of it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. I am very interested in how politics shapes culture and culture shapes politics.
Interesting.
Just
Yeah.
because of this moment of extreme divisiveness that we're in. Before politics got so divisive, maybe 15, 20 years ago, we were talking a lot about the slacktivist generation,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a play on activists. So instead of like, we want to be activists, but all we'll do is put something on social media. Okay.
Ease. Yeah.
What was that?
It's ease, right? I think it was like a path of least resistance. Yeah.
And I'm looking at today's world, okay? And I'm looking at the fact that one, the one thing that binds all Americans together is that we don't trust organizations and institutions anymore. If you're on the left, you don't trust organizations, institutions. You're on the right, you don't trust organizations and institutions. And number two, that we're all angry. Everybody is angry about someone, about something. A lot of it justified, but how we're expressing our anger is very much in the awareness phase. Let me post something on social media so others can see this, and it just amplifies the anger. I think that nonprofits play a really unique role in this moment because nonprofits can actually give people the ability to take what they're feeling, their discontentedness with the current state of things. And there's a lot to be discontent about, but they can allow people to recenter what we would call a locus of control. Does something happen to you or do you cause something to happen? So instead of just voting every 2 or 4 years and posting some angry stuff online, roll up your sleeves and go do something about the problems you have. You care about people being trafficked, roll up your sleeves and go do something about it. You care about homelessness, roll up your sleeves. You care about healthcare, roll up your sleeves. I think nonprofits might be the outlet vent that we need right now to keep this toxicity in our culture from boiling over into more violence and more conflict. If everybody took what they cared about and actually channeled that to doing something good for another human, it's going to help the other human, but it's going to help that person doing something psychologically in more ways than any of us understand.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think it's very interesting. I think about this statement. I don't know if you remember, you and I are probably around the same age, but like it resonated with me. It's like think locally, or it's like think globally, fine, act locally. And locally, you know, right? Like
it was a campaign, right?
Yes, right? Does that sound about right to you? Yeah. And I thought that was
picture
good.
The logo. I remember what it looked like, and
it might have been a bumper sticker. I don't know, but it means something. But also, once again, I think there's all these different like red herrings to get us off the scent, so to speak, of doing that, and with the social media and what have you, and the attention, where the attention is, and all these things. I think it's a way to get us in like almost like in this audacious mindset where that post will actually mean something globally, but it really actually doesn't because you probably don't really have an audience. You know what I mean? Where it's
you don't have an audience and it's only being amplified to people who already agree with you.
Precisely. No, exactly. It's very interesting and insular in theory, right? I heard you say I'm a hard left turn, James, because I want to be polite with your time. We could keep going for about 2 hours, probably. Hard left turn. I heard you say email a lot, and I love email, and I love email marketing and marketing in general. And you're like, oh, we need to create more leads. What is your? I mean, you don't have to say what your favorite is, but when you're coaching leaders and you're coaching these different organizations that you're working with, what is like honestly like the most effective way to get in front of folks attention wise right now to you? Are you like, hey, I want you to text, I want you to email, I want you to pick up the phone, all these things? It's you. I heard you say email a couple of times. You might just be using this as for an example, just to resonate with folks. But like, what are you more passionate about? We were like, the most powerful fundraising tool that you have is your phone. I'm holding up mine, right? And I'm a big believer in just picking up the phone. I'm a big believer in graciousness. You said responsiveness is an issue, so that will kind of like dovetail nicely into your
Yeah.
thoughts about this. But like communication wise, what are you really bullish on?
Do you remember those standardized tests they made us take when we were a kid?
Just like, was it like Scantron? Were there Scantrons
Yeah, there
involved or
was like,
something like that?
like multiple choice, like A, B, C, D, and D
Sure.
was always all of the above.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah. Yeah.
big believer in D, all of the
Yeah.
above.
Me too. I don't think fundraise is an or game. I think it's an and game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it depends what you're going after. If you're
Okay.
working with a major donor who is busy, pick up the phone, pick up the phone. If they're emailing because they're busy, email them back. Because that's how a lot of people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s communicate. Okay.
Right. Right.
They're not on TikTok. They're not on Snapchat. They're on email and their phone. I hate voicemail. I tell people don't leave voicemails anymore.
Okay.
No robot voicemails because
Okay.
with how the phones do that now, no one's listening to those.
Okay. Okay.
But I think people, if you believe your cause is worthy enough to ask for money, your cause needs to show up everywhere people are. And that's in real life, face-to-face meetings, it's events, it's dinner parties, it's on online platforms, social media, it's on digital advertising. I love direct mail still because it sits in somebody's house for 6 to 8 weeks and it creates the opportunity for them to take action. I love it all. I think it's how you combine all of it in the most respectful and engaging way for the audience you're going after.
And you said audience, and it's like, it just sounds like you need to understand your audience.
You need to understand your audience and you need to segment your audience. Your major givers deserve something different and deeper from you than your $50 a year donor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Like you said, they're entitled to it, for lack of a better term. They absolutely deserve it.
They have been trained to be treated this way. You need to treat them this way. If you want the money to keep going. And most of them, here's the thing about major donors. And I love this about them. You have your Wall Street hedge fund, I live in Connecticut types.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And they're awesome. And they're direct and they're quick. And then you have your blue collar major donors. And some people are like, blue collar? Yes. Most wealth in America is still owned by small business owners. Okay. There's a guy that I used to work with. He sold vitamins for livestock. Okay. I don't even fully understand what that means. The guy was buku wealthy, but he drove the same pickup truck from the 1980s and wore the same pair of Costco jeans every time that I saw him. Okay. He gave just as much as the Connecticut hedge fund, guy. Okay. Major donors aren't all, and he was not entitled. Okay. He was the most humble, generous, person you could think of. Don't typecast major donors as entitled, wealthy, snooty folks. They come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, I love that. I love the it's an and thing. I can't stop saying that for some reason on every episode. Fundraising is such an and game. It's not an or game.
It's classic Jim Collins, the power of the and.
Yeah, it's so good. So good. I did not give you a list of questions. And the conversation's been amazing.
Is this what you wanted? Seriously?
Oh, brother, this is fantastic. Okay. Yeah, man, it's been fucking awesome. Pardon my language, but yeah. So good. But and hopefully we can do it again, man. It's awesome. I do ask a question of most of our guests, and that is it's a accepted premise that fundraising is difficult, because it is. It's supposed to be, right? Anything worthwhile is. Fundraising is hard. My question to you: don't make it more difficult by doing what?
Can I give two answers, Trevor?
You can do whatever you want, brother. This is your show.
Fundraising is hard. Don't make it any harder by letting naysayers who have never done the job and don't have the courage to do the job tell you how to do your job.
Hell yeah.
You be you in the best sense of that expression.
Yep.
That's thought number one. Thought number two is fundraising is hard. Don't make it harder by adding unnecessary complexity. Sometimes complexity is very useful, but complexity for complexity's sake fails and simplicity scales. So try to make everything as simple as possible and only add complexity when there's a really, really, really good business case to be made for it.
I love it. It's so good. It's so good. We adopted a saying recently. It's like, hey, listen, we're not going after perfection. Speed right now for us, just because we're growing, and there's over 20 of us on the team, and we're
Tell me about your firm.
Oh, yeah. So we provide what we pay the bills with, and we don't do a good job of self promotion, obviously. But we provide auction items for organizations to use at their fundraising events.
Okay, I did get that part online.
Yeah. And so we'll be in 2,000 events this year. But and we're a family business. My best friend's my business partner, and my sister was our first employee. But now there's over 20 of us. And it's moving quick, and that's why I said speed trumps perfection. My partner, is our CEO and gave us that. It was fantastic, and the timing was excellent. But our big, honestly, man, our big thing is being different. We have a few competitors, is what it is. But we give our best information away for free. So we have the pod, webinars every week, free coaching, just services and all sorts of consulting that we don't charge for and what have you, just because we're a group of fundraisers that built a fundraising company to help fundraisers. And it's
the only way you get money is with the auction items.
Correct. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's cool though, bro. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
I need to learn more about that.
No, awesome. It's really, really fun. And you said events, and we're big into events, and we're big into folks getting together and what have you. And I don't get on the soapbox too much with that, but we're such big believers in the work that you're doing and coaching folks up on and major gifts. And we're also big believers in like having events so you can meet new major givers and things like that. So we're crossing those streams very thoughtfully and unapologetically, for sure, because I think it's rooted in a lot of truth. But yeah, man, if you would have told me 10 years ago that we'd be doing a pod and all that stuff and 200 plus episodes in and doing the work that we're doing, I would have been tickled. And I would have said, far out, how'd we get there? You know what I mean? So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a cool run, man. It's been a cool run. And also, I'm an optimist. I think it's actually a massive skill for being a fundraiser, for sure. Not me personally, but something that folks should definitely impart in their daily life. But there's something really great happening in our space. And I still feel, this many years in, that it's still very infant as far as the information share and how much good is out there. Like I said, coming full circle, I saw your post on LinkedIn. I'm like, this cat knows what he's talking about. So let's get it out there. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love that for our space.
Yeah.
And then, once again, like the layers that you and I have discussed about having great people and turnover being an issue and being great leaders. So thought provoking and so necessary to have the conversation, because I don't think a lot of people are, unfortunately. So cool. At scale, I guess, you know what I mean? Right. So but that's a long answer to a short question though, bro.
Hey, how do I help you? When does this go out, and how can I help you amplify it?
So it'll go out in a couple weeks, probably. Okay. We do a lot of episodes, but we drop 2 a week. Okay. And my 21-year-old daughter is the one that booked it with you.
Yeah.
And she's as soon as it drops on YouTube, it'll be Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We'll send you all the assets.
She'll send us a note on it. Okay, great.
Yeah, and then we'll clip it with your permission and put it all over LinkedIn with excerpts, like 60 to 120-second excerpts. We live on LinkedIn. We're on Meta and stuff like that too. But our audience
is on LinkedIn right now. I don't care about the rest of them.
That's where your audience is. I think it's tailor-made for our space and the goodness, once again, that's coming out of it. I haven't met a lot of phonies, man. I can smell bullshit from a mile away. Yeah. So it's been really cool. And I've mentioned this to you previously a couple of times. This conversation is no different. I appreciate I appreciate how thoughtful you are and your candor. I think it's awesome. I think it'll resonate big time.
I love this, man. If I ever start a podcast, you're going to be my first guest.
I appreciate it, man. Oh, cool. That's great. Yeah. Like I said, and completely organic, like no questions or topics or anything like that. Let's just talk about it and put the goodness out there, man. So thank you so much, brother, for taking the time and I believe in what you're doing. And we'll definitely be in touch as soon as the episode drops. And we're around for anything, man. So appreciate you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Thanks, James. Have a great afternoon. Appreciate your time. All right. Bye-bye. Later.